Hello, it's Adrian from String Taste here, and I wanted to make a short video about two things regarding the new Red 7 Leviathan preamp, which has a lot of capabilities, but the two things that I would like to focus on today are MIDI control and stereo FX loop. So I would like to show you an example setup of MIDI controlling from your processor. I will be using a Line 6 Helix, which has been my trusted go-to gigging device since I don't even remember how many years. As for the Leviathan connections, there are really a lot of cables here, but don't worry. Here is where you connect your guitar. So the first input on the on my right is the guitar connection. So here's where you plug in your guitar. The next two columns of inputs, so in this case the green and black cable, this one's here, are the sends, so right and left send. So this goes to the return 1 and 2 of the Helix. So we can plug it out. Then we have the returns. So this is return right and left. So these cables go to the send 1 and 2 in the Helix. These two cables here are stereo outs. So this will go to your front of house or your interface if you are recording like me. But basically this is the final stereo right and left channel of the processed signal. And the last but not least, we have the MIDI in here. So this is the input, the cable that you need to connect in the Helix, in the MIDI out. If you don't connect this cable here in and in the Helix to the out, you will not be able to steer your preamp like I did. Let's focus on the MIDI setup. So in the back of Red 7 Leviathan preamp, you will have the MIDI in and MIDI out or through. And the same for a Helix. As you can see, here you can send MIDI signals. So of course the simplest setup you can do is plug in your MIDI cable to the out of Helix and to the input of Leviathan preamp. And what we would like to achieve is steering different presets, channels on your Leviathan preamp directly from Helix. There are various ways to do it. One way to do it is assign particular toggle to different channels on the Leviathan. And the other way, as I'm using it, is assign each snapshot to a different or the same channel, but basically we can select automatically when changing snapshot which of the channels and presets on Leviathan we will be using. So let's do this. We have a really empty settings right now in the Helix. We have two cables in and out for the stereo loop that are going in and out of the Red 7 Leviathan preamp, as well as we have the MIDI cables, of course, and the two outs in the Leviathan preamp go into my interface. So what we want to achieve is we want to first assign different toggles. So the ones that you have in the Helix, like here, you can assign to pedals or different settings on the Leviathan. So let's do this. For that we will go to the menu button and we will go to the command center. And we will choose, for example, this foot switch. You can see that foot switch here, there are 12 foot switches here. These ones and these ones are normally assigned to the bank selection and stomp and tap, so I don't really want to modify them. I just want to assign these, let's say 3 foot switches to different channels on my Leviathan. So what I want to do is select the command, and we want to go all the way to the bank program. So by default, the MIDI channel that is used by Leviathan is channel 1. So let's choose channel 1 here. No matter what's your base channel on the Helix, I will choose just channel 1 here. And by default, the different presets and different channels are assigned program command PC MIDI signal from 1 to 6. So let's just do the following, very easy. let's select program on here. Let's go to this foot switch. Also, let's go to the bank program and let's choose program 2. And for this one we will choose bank program 3. So now what's gonna happen, and you will probably, you will see it by the LEDs that are changing here. When I select different toggles, I can switch between presets on the Leviathan. So that's what you can do under the toggles. So you can basically assign each toggle to a different setting on Leviathan, and you can treat it as sort of effects. So you can assign under different toggles, you can assign your delay, your reverb, and so on and so on and so on. From my experience and from my stage use, this is not the optimal solution, so I will show you something else, which is defining the different channels and presets on Leviathan under snapshots. So for that I will turn off all the configured MIDI settings here, and I will go to snapshot 1. So I want to define it like this. My first snapshot and my second snapshot will be my, let's say, cleanish settings. Then I want to have some crunch under snapshot 3 and maybe some lead tones, maybe some overdrive, really heavy overdrive under snapshot 4. So to do this, we are using the same command center. So again, we will go to the menu here, the 3 lines, then we'll go to command center. And instead of using the foot switches, here we will go to the instant command. So by default you will have command known. And same story, when you change the snapshot, all of those instant commands are sent via MIDI. So in my case I would like snapshot 1 to select the channel 1 orange preset, snapshot 1 and 2, because these are going to be my sort of clean light crunch settings. The snapshot 3 I would like it to use maybe the channel 1 preset green boosted, so this will be sort of crunchier, rockier tone. And under snapshot 4 I want to have channel 2 and maybe red preset. Let's try it like this. So in order to do this, very easy, let's set the instant command on snapshot 1. So I'm just going to snapshots, I'm selecting instant command here, and I will define bank program. So I remember that it will be channel 1, program 2. This is going to be the orange orange preset on channel 1. Then I will go to snapshot 2. I will do the same. I will select bank program, and I will select also program 2, so it will on channel 1, so it will give me the same channel 1 orange preset, which is sort of crunchy tones. Under snapshot 3 I will select channel 1 program, I think it's program 1, the green one, we will see in a second. And then under snapshot 4 I will select again channel 1 program maybe 5, I don't remember which one that was. So now you can see that when I switch between snapshots, the channels and the presets are changing. The snapshot 4 gives me the orange preset on channel 2. I would like it to give me a different one. Let's check the 3. It gives me the green preset channel 1 boosted. And then under 4 I have the red preset on channel 2, which is kind of rocky, kind of overdriven. So let me demonstrate it to you how it works in practice. So let's take a guitar. So let's go to snapshot 1, and so snapshot 1 will have gentle crunchy tone. Of course you don't really have a really clean setting on Leviathan, so that's perfect for me because I normally would roll down my volume to achieve the clean tones, right? You will see that there is no change when I change to snapshot 2. This is the same bank. If I change to snapshot 3, and now if I change to snapshot 4, I could bump the volume a bit on this one, and maybe, yeah. So again, snapshot 1 should have assigned MIDI channel 1 and program 2. I don't know why it didn't change. Okay, now we have it, so let's save it. Then same for snapshot 2, snapshot 3, and the snapshot 4. Great, so now we have our MIDI programmed. So now let's go to the stereo loop and how this works with Helix and Red 7 Leviathan. So since we have the, let's go to the basic bank in Helix. So what you can do is treat Helix as the controller and the source of your effects, overdrives, and everything else. And you can treat really like Leviathan as a separate amp. So what I did here is I connected sends and returns from Leviathan to send and returns of loops 1 and 2 in the Helix. So for me, send 1 and send 2 are the left and right sides of Leviathan Preamp. And I don't really use it in a standard 4-cable method. I don't use any overdrives in front of the preamp, although you could do that. I'm simply putting the guitar straight into Leviathan, then just using the Helix as the controller. So I will only be using the lower track of the effects, or lower line of the effects. And since I'm using the sends and returns 1 and 2 on Helix, I will define inputs. I will define inputs on my Helix here for this one. Sorry, it's gonna be this will be centered, and you can go all the way to the right, or you can use the Pac-Man mode. Just go to the left and immediately you are in the output. And here for the output you also select send 1 and 2. Right, so we want to have our input as return 1 and 2, and we want to have it centered. The same thing here, output will be centered and output will be send 1 and 2. If we put an effect now, a stereo effect now, one side of the effect or left side of the effect will go to one side or left side of Leviathan, and right side of the effect will go to the right side of the Leviathan. So effectively we will have a stereo loop connected. So let's see how this works. Let's add a reverb here. So we will go to reverb here. Of course I want to choose stereo, and maybe I will select a dynamic plate. So now if I apply this one, now I have a reverb enabled in each of my snapshots. So you can see that the channels on Leviathan are changing. Now I have different banks under different snapshots, and everywhere I have enabled reverb. So let's see how this sounds. Let's add a bit to the mix so you can hear it better. Okay, I will never use so much reverb, so now let's dial it down. For the first channel, I just want to have a bit of reverb. Great. For the second channel, I would like to have a tiny bit of chorus. So let's add a stereo chorus. For that I will use Trinity chorus. I will set the first def lower, the center a bit higher, and the right a bit higher. And we will leave mix at 50%. So for the first snapshot, I want the chorus to be disabled. So for the first snapshot, I want the chorus to be disabled, and for the second enabled. So let's see the change here. Nice. Now let's add a bit of delay to it. I'm gonna go with stereo delay. Let's make it a dual delay. Let's set left time to quarter notes, right time to dotted 8 notes, feedback, let's dial it a bit down, and the mixes, let's leave it around 30 something, 40%. Yep, and maybe let's disable modulation here. So in our first snapshot, I want to have only delay, only reverb. Sorry. Second snapshot, I want to have delay, chorus, and reverb. And for my first snapshot, I want to have only reverb. So first snapshot stays as a sort of cleanish, gentle crunch. Second snapshot becomes the this becomes a sort of modulated clean. For snapshot 3, I just want to leave the reverb again, so we can see the difference between snapshot 1 and snapshot 3. And then for snapshot 4, I just want to have a stereo delay and the reverb enabled. Then compared to the third snapshot. And of course the clean. So all in all, what we have is cleanish setting, then the cleanish modulated, then the crunchy, and the lead tones. One more thing you can do here, of course you can introduce an equalizer here if you would like to have a sort of different maybe feel or different equalization for the clean tone, for example. You can introduce a parametric equalizer here and maybe boost a bit of gains and a bit of highs, and maybe do the same for the modulated, but maybe don't do it for the crunchy and lead tones. Then this way you can correct some inequalities between the channels, or maybe fine-tune your tones. And the last thing I would add here is what I normally do with Helix is I add a stereo LA comp with lower mix, maybe around 60%, not so much peak reduction, not so much gain, but I will introduce it after the effects. So for example, if you have a clean channel and you don't have the compressor, here's how it sounds. And then I will I would enable the compressor. Which fattens a bit the tone, and overall, I would probably put it in every setting, in every snapshot. You can of course always check it out. Maybe in this one I would also enable the equalizer. There you have it. That's how you can use your Leviathan preamp coupled with some sort of effects processor, such as Helix, Quad Cortex, any other digital processor that gives you stereo effects and MIDI ability to send MIDI signals. This is a very easy setup once you try it and once you test it, and then the variety of sounds and the ability to steer your tones or control your tones during your live performances is amazing. It takes some time to get used to put everything in place, but once you do it, you don't need any big amps. You have everything under your, basically under your foot switches or your snapshots, and the palette of tones you can achieve is huge. So good luck with setting this up if you want to try it, and if you have any questions, hit me up. See you in the next video. Bye.